afternoon, everyone. I welcome all of us here to this webinar. My name is Dr. Mrs. Orie Van, the resource specialist and CEO for Natafam David Consulting Nigeria Limited. Just a little introduction of who we are. Natafam David Consulting is the leading provider of solutions and expertise across a number of industries, including human and manpower development, operations and strategy, research and business reengineering, amongst others. Today, we are presenting FM Reality Checks 2021, Making Sense of Facilities Management Markets. I'm proud to say that we have professionals on our panel who will lead us through the above theme and then some of the topics. I just want to welcome our speakers here. ESV Bode Adedeji, FNIEV PPNIEVS, is the Group Executive Chairman and CEO, Bode Adedeji Partnership. You're welcome, sir. Good afternoon. I also welcome the newly elected President of IFMA Nigeria's chapter, Mr. Segun Adebayo. Mr. Segun Adebayo, you are welcome. Good afternoon. Also, I'm glad to welcome Engineer MKO Balogun, the National Chairman, Nigerian Institute of Facility Engineering and Management, a division of NSE, and CEO Global Property and Facilities International Limited. You're welcome, sir. Good afternoon. I will welcome Mr. Olushola Ajibodu when he comes in. He's not in here yet. Then I want to welcome my CEO, Mr. Kenneth Odushola Stevenson. He's the CEO of Century Systems, which includes Inside Business Africa, CED Magazine, and Natafam David Consulting Limited. And then he's going to be our moderator this afternoon. Before we start this conversation, I want to let you know that if you have questions during the conversation or during the presentation, please be sure to type your questions into the question box in the control panel. Then we'll bring them up during the conversation at the appropriate time. And we'll also have time for these questions, probably at the end or during the conversation. Now, without further delay, we will turn the time over to Mr. Kenneth Odushola to give us highlights on the subject matter before I call in the first speaker. And then from the messages we sent, we are looking at reality check for facility management. We are looking at markets. And we all know that the last 12 months have been very difficult, even by the turbulent historical standards of the FM industry. Then as we struggle on 2021, what we have decided to do, Natafam David Consulting, is to present this webinar in association with Inside Business Africa. And we have different topics for different speakers. Please, I welcome Mr. Stevenson Odushola. Kenneth, welcome, sir.
Well, thank you very much for that brief introduction. It's going to be, and definitely I would like to thank all our speakers for today. You have already mentioned their name, Bode Adedeji, past president of Nigerian Institute of Surveyors, Engineer Segun, and Mr. Segun Adebayo of IFMA, and also Engineer MKO Balogun of Global Facilities Management, and you're very good stuff. And now we also want to say thank you to Mr. Ajibodu for just joining us on this conversation. It's going to be an exciting journey through this particular narrative, as we want to call it, and we want to say a very big thank you. We will continue to introduce your purpose as we move on this. But first, let me say a very big thank you to source and partners today, especially Bode Adedeji Partnership, who has always believed in our cause, and he also was one of the people that suggested some of these things that we do today. I want to thank him very, very much for always being there for us for so many years.
So I just want to make a little introduction of our speakers. Bode Adedeji has served as the 19th president of the Nigerian Institute of Estate Surveyors and Valuers. He's regarded as the highly cerebral, He graduated from Obafemi Awolowo University with a Bachelor of Science degree in Estate Management in 1979. That's about 42 years now. He was also awarded a Master of Science degree in Estate Management and Urban Land Appraisal by the University of Reading, United Kingdom in 1984. He has played a prominent role in the Nigerian real estate sector for more than 30 years. ESV Boda Adedeji is a member of many professional and business organizations, including, but not limited to, the Institute of Directors, the Nigerian South African Chamber of Commerce, the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, the International Real Estate Federation, Commonwealth Association of Surveying and Land Economy, American Real Estate Society, and the Association of Professional Bodies of Nigeria. He's a member of the Federal Government Vision 2020 ESV. Bode Adedeji is also an avid golfer and widely traveled. You're welcome, sir. We just give you a round of applause. He's been the big player in this industry, and we're happy to have him here. We are glad and we are delighted to have him here. You're welcome, sir. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Let me quickly make also introductions of the other speakers. Engineer Mohammed Kasim Olatunde Balogun, who is fondly called MKO Balogun, holds a BA Engine honors from Federal University of Technology, Owerri, Imo State. He obtained executive MBA from the prestigious Lagos Business School of Pan-Atlantic University. He started his PhD degree in entrepreneurship at Weldon University, USA, and was honored in Dubai with a PhD in management by Commonwealth University, Belize. MKO holds the prestigious Certificate Facilities Management CFM qualification of IFMA. His work experience has taken him around various organizations, industry sectors, functions, and he also leaves indelible marks of achievement and experiences from these sectors, which has prepared him for his entrepreneurial sojourn and focus on facilities management. MKO Balogun has served in various companies in different capacities. He's worked in CFAO, UACN, Bemil Security Services, Leventis Motors, Nigeria, UBA PLC, and MM2 as facility manager in most of these industries. He's received a lot of awards, and he's led his company into also receiving awards from different countries, even in Nigeria. He's also a lecturer at the University of Lagos. He's lecturing in facility management at the master's degree level. He speaks in conferences in various international FM and building industry in Nigeria, Dubai, Ghana, USA, and other countries. He is a member, fellow, leader of many professional associations and bodies, such as Fellow of Chartered Management Institute UK, Fellow of Institute of Direct Marketing Nigeria. He's also a member, National Steering Committee, Chairman, Publicity Committee, the FM Initiative, National Facilities Management Body in Nigeria, just to mention a few. There are so many of them. He has established the DMB Foundation last year to provide full scholarship from senior secondary to university level to one child a year. Already in its second year, the foundation also has other scholarship programs, 2 polytechnics, 1 open university, 3 secondary school scholars, and 1 family sponsorship on house rent and small food businesses. You are welcome, sir. Engineer MKO Balogun. You are welcome. And the next person I want to introduce now is Mr. Segun Adebayo, who is just elected as the president, IFMA Nigeria chapter. Mr. Segun Adebayo is an astute administrator, a resourceful and solution-driven individual with strong flair for excellence. He holds a BSc in Banking and Finance from Kwara State Polytechnic and master's degree in Corporate Governance from Leeds Metropolitan University, UK. With over 17 years experience in banking and finance industry, where he served at different capacity as PA to the MD, to head of administration, and all that. He was also appointed the Senior Special Assistant on Facility Management to the former governor of Ogun State from 2017 to 2019. As the Senior Special Assistant on Facility Management, he developed the strategic plan and roadmap for professional management of facility, asset and infrastructure of the state through the integrated facility management of all the modern markets and malls built by the state government. He also collaborated with the judiciary arm of government on this development of operational templates towards a sustainable and cost-effective facility management of all the state court facilities. Mr. Adebayo is a fellow Institute of Administrative Manager, UK, chartered member, Chartered Institute of Purchasing and Supply Management, Facility Management Professional, FMP. He was elected the 11th president of IFMA, Nigerian chapter, in December 2020. He's committed to continuous professional and personal development. You are welcome, the new elected president of IFMA, Mr. Segun Adebayo. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your time. Okay, thank you so much. I'm going to call on ESB Bode Adediji, the Group Executive Chairman, stroke CEO, Bode Adediji Partnership, to take us on how facilities management evolved in the global real estate market. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you so much, and thank you all, listener. Let me appreciate your company for inviting me to join on this topical issue. As a sideline, it happens to be my birthday today, and I've put 42 years into this practice, contrary to your earlier submission of 30 years. I feel delighted to join all of you. Let's go straight to the point. I always want to take a look at any topic we are going to focus on from the contemporary reality. And the first thing I want to say is that if most people don't want to pay attention to management, generally speaking, or facilities management in particular, prior to 2020, they might be forgiven. But as Mr. Spencer said earlier on, with the outbreak of COVID-19 and what we have witnessed, we could say now that we have seen what could have taken place when there was nothing like facilities management. We have seen what must have been taken when facilities management was at its inception and development. And we have now seen what facilities management must mean as a matter of necessity now that we have all this in our hand. My encounter with facility management come from my own pictorial assessment of things that I could see, and I could see why it is almost inevitable to have managers to manage facilities. My first encounter must be at the Kennedy Space Center. When you look at everything put in place, without facilities management, you cannot even make sense out of it. A couple of years ago, I went to the headquarters of Huawei, which is like maybe the whole of Sulere are combined for a single company. But I haven't said this as examples of why we are here today is to look at the evolutions, the reality, the participants, the challenges, which I believe will be handled by certain designated contributors. My own is just to give an overview of the entire, shall I say, dilemma. Well, we all know that the world, facilities management, by evolution, by concept, by participants, even by challenges, keep on evolving. Second reality about this is that it is a totally multidisciplinary profession. We now call maybe interdisciplinary. So you have engineering, architecture, finance, estate, legal, name it. And of course, human aspect. If we look at it in Nigerian perspective, I don't think such a time existed some 30, 40 years ago. We started what we call maybe property management. And so what do? We concentrated on what tenants are in a place, what rent are they paying, and probably who is guarding who. But today, the term is complex. The practice has a model. It's either you have it or you don't have it. And that is why when you see people brandishing degree in facilities management, the conclusion is the taste of the building is in the eating. When I see how I feel, if I enter into the I can conclude the presence or absence of a reliable professional facility manager. The other one we know is that it has become a necessity in anything that is functional and something that's going to be secure. And the concept of this facility management now must even commence from the conceptualization stage of any project. Because building without taking into consideration is going to manage you, from what perspective, then it becomes a failure ab initio. The one we then know is that as time progressed, I understand that even in the bygone years, lawyers used to manage premises, collect rent, fix your roof, and go on. Later on, estate managers, SOV and valuers of general background continue to integrate, of course, handle all this matter. But in the last couple of decades, particularly commencing from the US, you have specialties that take care of this. What we know is that in the wake of COVID-19 and the emerging economic and social parameters that we don't know, I won't mention the name, but I went to see a major oil company some few weeks ago and assessed their building from basement to the 13th floor, and everywhere was empty, and empty for the past 9 months. That's a challenge for facilities management. The lesson on that is that if the building, if the management had only foreseen a where a particular project or building will be fully occupied, the first reality in COVID now is that what happens when such gigantic building becomes empty. For us, in state management generally, we now notice that the rent you are charging is the service charge you are charging or you are not charging is as critical as the rent you want to charge. Where now in some buildings, charges for running services like generator, like lift, like security and so forth, is accounting for 30% of the rent. It becomes significant. What we now have in mind is that we do not know what the post-COVID economy is going to look like. We do not know in Nigeria whether banks that dominate 10-story building from ground floor to the left will still be able to keep staff and retain them. We do not know whether most workers now, as from maybe next year, haven't tasted the beauty, the prospect of working from home, will keep to working at home, or will migrate back to their various offices. We do not know whether there's going to be a cross flow of people who reside in Ghana and work in Nigeria online. In that case, and that's where I'm going to conclude, facility management now will begin to unfold new challenges for the following people: investors, architects, engineers, quantity surveyors, facilities managers, and SW and valuers. And I think by the time we look at how this thing has evolved, we have to look as to where it is going to end us starting from next year. I thank you all for listening.
Thank you so much, ESV Bode Adediji, the chairman and CEO of Bode Adediji's partnership company, who has been in the real estate business for over 30 years. Let me still say over 30 years, because he's tried to correct that before he started. Thank you so much. And from what he's saying that it is necessary. There's a necessity, or it has become necessary, that any project that is taken up, it should start from conceptualizational stage to the end of it. It's also important that different arms of facility management, there are different people involved in facilities management, the engineering aspect of it, the architectural, the finance and all that, to come together and collaborate. And because one of the things he said is that we don't know what we are going to face after now. We don't know whether people are already enjoying staying at home and working from home, or they will also think of coming back to the physical offices. And this question, something he put up, and which is a big question for me, is the fact that the buildings are there and people are not in the buildings. And then the question for me comes: what will the facility? What will you people do? Is there anything in place for the facility management companies to encourage or motivate people to come back to the offices with certain level of development in the workplace, or the workplace plan or design, so that people can actually come back and work conveniently in the office? And I'm even glad to say that we in Natapam David Consulting, we have done some research, and we have come up with kind of design and a plan that the facilities management companies can use or deploy, so that people can come back to the offices to work free of the coronavirus or any other issues that may rise up due to probably crowded environment or people around and all that. And by the end of this program, I'll put up our address, email, and phone numbers. You can call us. We can come and sit down together and look at this design and plan, so that your own job as facility management will not lose its place this time that people seem to love working from home, or we're not even sure if they are coming back to the offices again. Thank you so much, sir, for that. And like I said, if you have any question, just put it on the chat box. We'll pick it up in due course. I want to now call on Engineer MKO Balogun, who will take us on the current global facility management balance. He's going to take us on the global facilities management balance. He'll also be looking at or analyzing the key components, innovation and impact of the pandemic on operators, and the trajectory of the industry growth. You're welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Yeah, thank you so much, Engineer MKO Balogun.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. First, I want to say happy birthday to one of our leaders in the industry, Mr. Bode Adediji. Wish you more many, many more years of good health. I also want to thank you for your opening remarks. Some of your thoughts are aligned with some of the things I'm going to be talking about. I want to welcome my friend, current president of IFMA, Segun. Wish you all the best in your tenure as president of IFMA, and all the participants to this event. I'd like to thank the organizers for deeming it fit to invite me to be part of the panelists. I'll just share a couple of thoughts on some of the things that have been the theme of the top of the session, as well as some of the things that has been talked about by Mr. Adediji and Dr. Van. So let me start from the last comments about buildings, empty buildings, and the role of FM. It's important to know that organizations define the way their buildings are used and basically come from organizational strategy. When a company decides to take an office space or build an office space, they have objective. They have a reason why they want to choose it out. And facility managers only align with that to ensure that the objective of the organization is met. So it can be a brand issue for an organization. We have in Nigeria where a couple of corporate organizations, use their buildings to market their organization. Apart from that, buildings are also assets. So there are investors, just like Mr. Adediji said, investments in an asset. There are companies who are investors in real estate. So buildings will continue to be an important component of their business. There are users, people who use office spaces. So every category of organization that uses piece of asset, real estate, has a purpose for doing it. And the role of the FM is to ensure that that purpose is met, the objective is achieved. And so there will still be work for FM. Even when the building is not in use, facility managers are still managing the building. And it's important that facility managers know that their work does not end because there are no occupants in the building. But there are discussions globally today, and I'm going to mention some of the talks in my slides, where organizations are focusing on creating a way to bring people back to office because of some both human resource, business strategy, business culture issues, rather than just pandemic alone, but ensuring that facility managers pay all the attention necessary to ensure that when employees return, either partially or fully in whatever form, and the office environment is safe for them to operate. So I'm just going to talk about 4 key areas, and the last item is a question. What has changed in FM? How is FM's role in the post-pandemic world going to be? What's the impact of a pandemic on the operators? And how is the industry going to play out now that we're in a pandemic? So what has changed? Technology, innovation, I'm going to talk about those 3 components. FM has been defined and is important, and I don't discuss facility management without bringing this up. The definition of FM in line with ISO 41011-2017 says the organizational function which integrates people, place, and process within the built environment with the purpose of improving the quality of life of the people and the productivity of the core business. So there are 2 key functions of facility managers in this definition: improving quality of life and productivity. So when we manage buildings, we're not just managing the buildings for the fun of managing buildings. So what has changed what's the expectation now that we have COVID? Welfare, health, lives, and safety and environment is critical. There are organizations now that are very focusing on different ways of managing employee well-being. The environment where we work has become more critical than before. What kind of structure have we created to support employees, either in and out of office? Utilization of the asset, as we said, the organizations that have invested resources in building their head office or acquiring head offices or investing in buildings, they want return. What are we doing to increase value of those assets? Brand, I mentioned it before, organizations whose purpose of real estate is about brand. There was a study that was done several years ago about the impact of work environment on human resource retention and hiring, and workplace plays a major role in that. So it's important that we pay attention to the environment on the buildings that we're giving to. I've talked about retention and employment as a critical part. Business goal, I've talked about it. Compliance, regulatory is important. Organizations can lose a lot now. There is a lot of focus on the environment. So facility managers play a major role in ensuring that we have a compliant environment. Adequate service provision, cost-effective service management. Some discussions last year during lockdown, organizations are seeing reductions in cost of managing buildings because of low occupancy or no occupancy. These are things that we need to carry forward, not just only during lockdown, but these are things that organizations expect to do. Technology will become a major component for us as facility managers to ensure that we are able to drive efficiencies and improvements on data. Use of artificial intelligence, robots, understanding music. Mr. Bode talked about the role of engineers and architects and the combination of all of us in ensuring that buildings are well managed. These are going to be critical things for us to manage. We're going to see it in a couple of slides. HSE, major components. In this part of the world, we are not even though Lagos has done quite a bit between last year and now, ensuring that buildings are compliant, especially when it comes to crowd management for events. But in terms of office space management, there is need to do more on ensuring there is compliance. Smart buildings, we definitely hate everything we talk about in the FM industry. Technology has become a major component for us, from CMMS, that's very old, to BEAMS, to BMS, virtual reality, IoT, mobile apps. These are all important components that facility managers are expected to continue to use, including technologies that help us to create efficient work environment, technologies that help us to monitor how office environment operates. Indoor air quality monitors have become very critical. Air quality enhancing equipment have been introduced since last year across the globe, where the quality of air that is circulating within the building is enhanced through new equipment. FM's role in post-pandemic world. It's important. Office space has changed. Less population in the office. Greenhouse emissions have reduced dramatically. There is reduction and impact on the environment has reduced. Organizations are rethinking environment. I talked about it. Is focused on cleanliness and hygiene, as well as people return back to normalcy. Some of the things we saw during lockdown that reduced, global emissions. We're getting back to pre-lockdown, and there are calls now for building owners and building managers to pay attention, into environmental compliance and impacts on our buildings and transport are the biggest contributors to greenhouse emission in the world. Building management has changed, focus more on environmental awareness and compliance, improved housekeeping is critical, focus on research on the impact of air conditioning on COVID transmission, changing office layout design, changing public utilities, design, development and usage, interaction with people and people interaction with the environment. And these are areas that people always believe that as soon as there's a change in utilization of a space, the role of FM reduces. No, it doesn't. It only increases the role of FM. It only means that FMs need to relook at the way they work, from the mundane to the more critical aspects of building and infrastructure management. Offices have started opening, as I mentioned, globally, not only in Nigeria. And some of the focus, some of the attention has been who is going to resume, when are they going to resume, and what kind of environment they're going to resume to. We had that, post-COVID, especially in Nigeria, between June and August, changes to office layout. There's a lot of companies who have just had only 20% reduction. Some are just, completely shut down. But there are considerations to continue to rethink and relook at moving people away from working from home. Currently, there are studies in the US, for instance, where organizations are looking at cluster-based work rather than bring everybody to one location, creating office spaces across clusters where teams can work together because key to them, we're going to mention that in the course of the presentation, collaboration, working together and ensuring that there is team spirit and culture within the organization. So employees, those are 5 considerations, when we're talking about what will be our role in the post-pandemic workspace as we see today, ensuring that all the various areas, some of these things we're already paying attention to them, but there's increasing demand for us to pay more attention to them than before. And even though some of these places some of the offices are not occupied, some of the places are not in use, it doesn't stop the fact that we need to continue to make sure that the places are ready in case anybody wants to come to the office, so that there are no contentions or no contaminations taken from the office. Part of the measures facility managers need to focus on going forward is to measure wellness, employee wellness in office environments. How many illnesses, how many people felt ill during their stay in the office from sick building syndrome or indoor quality. Communication is key. Continue to create awareness, signages, open communication to alert employees about any issues that may arise. Monitoring and maintenance is another area that we can't stop. Even though the office is not fully occupied, we have to continue to maintain and monitor that we are fine with it. The future of workplace has been defined as a hybrid office. There's a publication recently by FM Systems, written by Michael Shelley. Its focus is to look at the office environment differently from what it used to be. People think that people are not going to return to work. Organizations are rethinking that. And part of the consideration is we now know that work can be done anywhere. This did not start because of pandemic. Working from home has started as far back as 2016, 17, 18. Organizations have started, experimenting, and they found out that people can work from anywhere they are. Work is less routine. It's not something that you have to sit in a place and work from 8 to 5 or 8 to 4 or 9 to 4, as the case may be. And there's always group work. So understanding work helps us to redefine, the workspace of the future. Workspace of the future requires robust collaboration. Learning and mentoring is critical. You cannot throw new employees, for instance, who join organizations cannot work completely away from the team that they are working with. They will lose the organizational culture and the connection with the organization. Company culture is critical. The research that was done, as I mentioned last year, a lot of companies are reconsidering working from home as a result of the impact it's having on company culture. Human connection, we cannot, afford not to have people work together. One of the things that I propose is that organizations can do once a month group by group connection meetings in the office, where departments come to the office and they can have sessions rather than everybody coming or sitting at home, so that we can continue to create human connection, because it also helps cognitive power. Expanded remote work in a flexible part-time basis will be the order of the day. What it means is that we're not going to have 100% work from home. We're going to have people work maybe two days a week in the office and 3 days from home. Shared desking on assigned sitting, which has been in practice for over a decade or more, will continue to be the order of the day. No employee will have a desk. When they're coming, they will book in When they're coming to the office, they'll be assigned a desk when they come, and they can work, and the place is ready for them. Technology will help facility managers to understand who is coming, when they are coming, what's the utilization of the desk, so that you can also plan your maintenance and systems. So badging system, which is your ID card, how many people came to work today, which floor did they go, how many desks they use. Using Wi-Fi hotspots can also help, to monitor data. Motion sensors on desk. Organizations are installing globally motion sensors. For you are doing hot desking, you use motion sensor on desk to know which desk is more utilized, so that you can determine the frequency of cleaning and improve cleaning that you need to do on that. Environmental sensors will be very important. I mentioned before, temperature sensors, humidity, chemicals, measure especially CO2, lighting conditions, indoor air quality measures, and noise levels are going to be critical for facility managers to monitor and ensure that at every time of the day where people are in the office or in the place, the levels are in line with standard. Cameras are going to be used to capture how many people came to the office, when did they resume, when did they leave. So it helps you to manage every component of the building, from reception area, lift areas, office spaces, restrooms, and this helps you to manage and create maintenance plans that speaks to the number of people that come. Smart lighting with sensors also focuses on, because I mentioned before, organizations have seen cost reductions during lockdown. They want to continue to see that. The only way FMs can deliver that is find better ways to manage their buildings without the same way we were doing in the past. Some of the considerations that we need to pay attention to as FMs is ensure that we continue to pay attention to cleaning of desks and lockers, open plan desking. Focus rooms are important. Focus rooms are used for team building and team meetings. Hoteling in office spacing has become interesting and common. Short letting of spaces. People want to use the office. People want to come to the office only for 2 hours a day. Those are things that we need to plan for and ensure that we have opportunities to provide that service to employees of the companies we manage. Neighborhood group working with departments who wants to come and work on the day, and everybody wants to come. You must be ready to, just like I mentioned, ready to provide all the needed service for them the day they've chosen to come to work. Collaboration spaces, telephone booths within the office spaces. People have benefited or seen the value of quietness and tranquility in their homes when they work from home. They want to be able to transmit the same thing to work environment. So we must be able to create such spaces within the work environment. Creative designs. People who are working in their houses, you find beautiful environment that inspires their work and inspires the way they work. And they want same thing in their office environment. So facility managers, we need to rethink the way office spaces are designed and laid out, from the traditional rigid glass partition tables and chairs here and there, than with an open-minded green walls, exposed building core. People want to see things that inspire their ability to do their work well. I will continue to mention indoor air quality is critical in an office environment. The way we design offices now, we have to change to ensure that we're able to allow fresh air in on a regular basis, and also ensure the quality of air within the space is good. Wellness centers, canteen, and gym within office space has always been there, but attention to them becomes more critical, ensuring that we pay attention. The design we're creating more spacious, more open, and allows employees to have value for it. So how has the pandemic impacted the operators? As we have seen, a lot of shutdowns happened globally between February, March, and June, July, and some are still happening. UK is partially a lockdown, Germany partially, France partially a lockdown. So this will continue to affect facility managers. What it means that the volume of work in those locations or clients will reduce, but does not reduce the requirements for facility management. There has been improved activity in the last quarter of 2020 for FMs. I've seen a couple of numbers from global FM players that are positive despite the pandemic. Organizations are trusting FM professionals with their buildings. Those who are doing self-managing or partial outsourcing are currently thinking of bringing professionals and organizations that understands how to manage risk at this level to the organization to manage their FM. Services in demand are increasing. Everything within the office space is now being thrown at FMs because people want to, pass of risk that can lead to, infection or COVID or any other pandemic in their building. And FMs are rethinking service delivery with new solutions and new technologies. As I mentioned, as facility managers, companies globally are rethinking the way we work in terms of data, in terms of utilization of assets, in terms of ensuring that we're able to deliver value to organizations that we're providing service to. What's going to happen in the industry? The industry will continue to grow. I believe the FM industry has been predicted to grow in the next 2 to 3 years by more than 16%, which I completely agree with what we are seeing currently. There will be consolidation. There have been major consolidations in the space within Africa and globally. Started as far back as 2012, 2013, and that's continuing. We expect that. The reason why this will continue to happen is organizations who are looking for value, are looking for consolidated service, and service providers are looking for partners to ensure they're able to meet that. Technology will continue to be a major component for FM delivery, not just on the value side, but also on the cost side. There will continue demand for results and quality service by clients and users. People want to ensure that whoever they're engaging to deliver service to them, they can go to sleep because they believe they will get the value they are getting. Data-driven fast management will continue to be an increase. People want to, even as managers of properties, as fast managers, we need data to be able to predict where service is required, when they are required, and ensure we're able to do that, not just providing service without a demand for it. Now that occupancy in offices are not as it used to be, you don't want to just clean the whole building and spend the same amount of money you are spending pre-COVID. You have to spend based on data, based on activity. Continuous learning and development, especially in the area of design and building services, which is what I mentioned, is what Mr. Bode mentioned earlier. All of us, we need to learn more about buildings as engineers, as facility managers. We need to understand where and what and how buildings function and how they can impact well-being and welfare of employees within the space. Are we ready for the next pandemic? That's the question in the minds of everybody today. Bill Gates has called our attention to that, and I'm also saying the same thing. Are we ready for the next pandemic? Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you so much, Engineer MKO Balogun, for this extensive presentation. I remember that early this morning or late yesterday night, he was saying it's a short notice and all that, but I'm just overwhelmed with the lengthy the presentation he gave this afternoon. Thank you so much. I don't know if Mr. Stevenson is still online, please.
Mine is very what Balogun has done is to give us what we should look out for and what is happening in the industry, and also to look at the fact that to FM organizations that are working for companies, including every organization that is running anywhere in the world, even in Nigeria, we need to now develop a workplace planning strategy. And that's what he has given to us today. And I'm quite overwhelmed by the fact that he was able to go that deep into the whole concept of how we need to move on. Variants are coming in. So what he has just done is to give us the strategy to move on in this new normal for as long as we want to do. So the FM organizations, like he has said, the work it has not reduced. The workload has not reduced. Instead, it has also increased based on the fact that you have to plan new strategies of workplace things. But what is important is that from companies like this, and there are new opportunities opening up in this FM industry. Thank you very much. I think we should just take about 30 seconds break. 30 seconds break, and then we'll come back and take the next conversation.
Okay, thank you so much. Just about few seconds break. We'll come back with Mr. Segun Adebayo's presentation.
Adebayo, yes.
Yes, please. Just stay tuned.
Adediji Partnership is the pioneer multidisciplinary professional firm in the real estate. With over 30 years of experience, Bode Adediji Partnership has cemented their legacy as one of the greatest of all time in the real estate and facility management. Bode Adediji Partnership is the pioneer multidisciplinary professional firm in the real estate. With over 30 years of experience, Bode Adediji Partnership has cemented their legacy as one of the greatest of all time in the real estate and facility management.
Okay, thank you so much for this for your time for this short break. I'm calling on Mr. Segun Adebayo to come up with the topic, the market for FM and opportunities. You'll be looking at the market for FM and opportunities in various sectors, in the manufacturing sector, oil and gas, banking, and other financial institutions. You're welcome, Mr. Segun Adebayo, the newly appointed IFMA President, Nigeria chapter. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much for the introduction. It's a very rare privilege to be speaking amongst the doyens of their respective industries. Estate Surveyor and Valuer Bode Adediji. Happy birthday, sir. That name, I've been hearing it since when I was very young in the industry, the banking industry particularly. And my brother, who just spoke, Dr. MK Obalogun, it's a privilege to speak with you on this platform. And all quality attendees and listeners, I thank you for this opportunity. As I try to share my screen, I'm not sure if you can see my screen now.
You can share it.
Okay, can you see it now?
Yeah, you can share it. You can. You have the privilege to do so.
Okay, I'll try and share it now while I continue to speak. I must say that this has been a unique opportunity. Can you see it now, please?
I think it's coming up, yes.
Yeah, it's a rare privilege to be speaking to our team listeners on the FM Reality Checks 2021 Making Sense of facility management markets, and I'll be speaking about the markets and the opportunities. These are my outline. I'll just briefly introduce. But let me say that there's a huge connection between the three speakers. I pick from Engineer Estate Surveyor Bodeleji, his comment about getting FM managers or facility management companies involved at the conception of projects. Without sounding anyhow, these have been one of the key and major advocacy IFMA Nigeria has been speaking to at every given opportunity, which will also not only provide value to all the stakeholders, but also give the owners of the facility a huge cost efficiency and cost management. Because clearly, when you're part of the project from inception, you should be able to speak to it at every point in time and not be able to manage it, particularly where the builder or whoever is in charge of construction will leave the site upon completion and where an FM manager takes over. I will also be speaking to one of the key factors Dr. M.K. Balogun has spoken to on the need to use technology to drive FM, Internet of Things, and what have you. But just to show my outline, I'll be introducing FM. And like he said, Dr. M. Balogun said that he likes to speak on FM and also speak to the definition. I'll also be speaking to that, but what I have there is what he has mentioned, so I won't bother us with that. I'll be speaking to the sense in facilities management, the market of FM, speaking to some data and data analysis and statistics. I will speak to the opportunities of FM, the value, and the perspective of IFMA. I will conclude and I will share a few takeaways. Just as he has said in his opening montage, FM is a unique profession that encompasses multiple disciplines. Estate Balua Bodeleji also alluded to this fact. It's also a profession that creates an enabling environment for all to add value and also to thrive. FM ensures functionality of both environments through the integration of people, place, process, and technology. What Dr. M.K. Balogun mentioned is the fact that from IFMA point of view, there are 12 core competencies of facilities management, which is also shared here. And these are also platform or window for markets and opportunity to be explored if these are properly harnessed. And one of them is real estate. We also have communication, which he also mentioned in his presentation. So there's a connection, and it can only be now, not sometimes again, that we can also make all collectively make sense about facilities management, the market, and the opportunity. Now, the sense in FM, what I've put together here is to say that the sense in FM starts with the timing of this program, where we all come together to have a reality conversation as to checks and the state of the market. There's no better time than now. The quality of speakers and attendees also speak to the need for us to have a result-driven reality check. While I agree with Dr. M.K. Balogun that the conceptual effect of the impact of COVID-19 have really triggered the need for all of the stakeholders to begin to think out of the box, if not out of hexagon, so that we can have a sustainable and opportunity-driven market. For us, like I said, IFMA have been champions of advocacy. And since the advent of the COVID, both the first era and the second one that we're witnessing now, IFMA on our part as a leading advocate, have been having conversations around series of knowledge sharing to the advantage and to also discover the real and potential value of the economy. For us as IFMA Nigeria, we are not only positioned as a proactive association to change the narratives in built environment, but also to deepen relevance in the FM ecosystem through our own bold and impactful initiatives. I'll share some data around the market of FM. This is from market and market analysis. And it speaks to the attractive opportunity in the FM market. This is global analysis. And it's projected that between 2020 and 2025, IFMA facility management will be growing from $39.5 billion to 65.5 billion dollars rather. And the growth is not only a fluke, but it's also attributed to the rising demand of integrated facility management and intelligent software solutions in view of where we find ourselves around COVID. So clearly, information technology, building management software will play a great role in ensuring that the market is not only developed, but is also expanded, as it were. These statistics also show that there will be a growth rate of 10.6 globally in facility management industry. CBIC Journal also projected about $1.1 trillion of FM market in 2027. Allied Market Research, in its own outlook of June 2020, projected that Nigerian facility management services will grow to $12.7 billion by 2027. This also represents 6.4% growth between 2020 and 2027. These are pointers to the fact that the market of facility management in Nigeria is not only growing, but is developing at a rapid rate. You all agree with me that the effort of the federal government of Nigeria in infrastructure renewal and development also give credence to the fact that the market of FM is growing. The Ministry of Aviation, Ministry of Transportation, and Ministry of Works and Housing, they are investing so huge in infrastructure. New terminals, rail terminals. In Lagos, we have MM2 being commissioned, and sometimes in February this month. And recently, the Ministry of Works and Housing have also commenced the process of concessioning about 8 roads in the entire nation, which will require an FM specialist to manage those roads in our own professional manner. So clearly, the market of FM in Nigeria is not only growing, like I said, but it's also developing at a rapid rate. And there's a huge connection between market development and opportunities there. I'll be speaking to those opportunities as the slide goes on. You all agree with me that the dynamics of FM market is also being alluded to following the establishment of several isolation centers arising from COVID-19 pandemic. This has also expanded the markets of facility managers in the industry. Not too long ago, as part of public service market expansion, the Ministry of Works and Housing also established a Department of Federal Public Maintenance by Federal Ministry of Works, like I mentioned. It gives also give further credence to the growing rate of the FM market in our nation. So clearly, all of us as a player, all of us as stakeholders, has a huge market in our hands that we should explore and take full advantage of. The sustainable performance and expanded role of the Pioneer Agency in FM, NASIAMA in Lagos, are also contributed to market development of FM in Nigeria. These are markets where all of us professionally can play in and also add value to our respective spaces. The effect of the pandemic has equally led to some pharmaceutical and healthcare businesses booming so that demands could not be met and also possibly surpassed. In fact, some fast-moving consumer goods companies are equally diversifying to some healthcare products. These are markets that is huge and is available for all of us to take advantage of. Recently, Central Bank licensed about 2 or 3 or 4 banks, Globals and Titan banks. And in the course of preparing for this presentation, I decided to just take 5 banks and examine their number of branches. And it occurred to me that with the merger of Access and Diamond Bank to become Access Bank, their branches grew to about 600 branches. I took 5 banks to also look at the number of branches they all have together. They are amounting to about 2,000 branches. I took the Access of this world, the First Bank of this world, the GTB, the FCMB. The highest being First Bank, which is 620 branches. The lowest being maybe Globus Bank or Citibank that have been licensed with two branches. All these branches requires our attention, even though they are not opening because of pandemic the way they should. But again, I also want to agree to one of the speakers that says that even though those facilities are empty, they also require the attention of facility manager so that they can be sustained in the manner and the state they are. While the oil and gas is generating a lot of market opportunities in line with current global reality, They have also required some of their personnel to also sharpen their skills for competitive advantage towards the professional delivery of service. These are facts that also show, like I mentioned, that there is a huge connection between market opportunities, market development, and opportunities therefrom. Let me speak about the opportunity of the facility management. The opportunities are enormous, with a life-changing impact to relevant stakeholders. So clearly, a lot will happen in terms of opportunities from this teeming market of Nigerian market. We will generate more employment, and this will have impact on the bottom line of our nation. Of course, service providers, professionals in the industry will also generate revenue from excess service that they deliver, while governments also generate more revenue via taxes and charges. As also alluded to by Dr. M.K. Balogun, technology will come to play, especially in view of the pandemic. Creativity and ingenuity will also require to be explored as to a way to manage remotely facilities without endangering anyone. So investment, huge investment, and opportunity in technology cannot be overemphasized. For us to also meet the need for this market growth, it is important for us to hone our skills in knowledge and capacity building. So for us in IFMA, we're taking full advantage and full opportunity of this, because it will not only provide value, it will also enhance the opportunities within the market. We need more faculty, we need more initiatives to sustain what we have achieved as an association. Of course, cost management in terms of professionally managed assets or facility translate to preservation of the asset and increased lifespan. These are opportunities that are available for stakeholders, irrespective of the camp you wear, to take full advantage of. Now, the reality check and our perspective as an association. For us in IFMA, we agree with the fact that the FM market is not only big, but has its huge potentials to become very bigger. Clearly, the FM market has shown its readiness to contribute more to the bottom line of our economy if our fundamentalists are strategically harnessed. You all agree with me that in terms of size and volume of our economic activities as a nation, Nigeria, it is not impossible for us to expand FM activities and dominate in African markets. To this end, in IFMA Nigeria chapter, we have continued to demonstrate the capacity to continue to provide proposal leadership towards the expansion of the market, even as we continue to leverage on our own achievement and goodwill to sustain this. IFMA, as a pioneer and leading association that was incorporated in February 1997, we are committed to genuine, transparent, and sincere collaboration that will not only propel the growth of the market, but also allows opportunity to all and sundry. IFMA will also continue to leverage on the quality of our membership, both individual and corporate, to create a new path into the market and equally drive market transformation. As I conclude, I want to say that for a sustainable market and opportunities, we at IFMA are positioned to continue to change narratives and break new grounds. We will do this through our own renewed purpose, which is improved capacity and knowledge development, research and development to give room for proper data analysis and statistics, begin to implement our mentorship development initiatives so that we can also give back to our society through our CSR interventions that will be launched soon. For us in IFMA, to also maintain a sustainable market and opportunity, we have commenced plans on critical and strategic engagement with artisans in the built environment. We want to engage them to give them some sense of belonging and also open them up to the economy that FM prepares for every one of them. We will do this in collaboration with some selective corporate institutions. I conclude by saying that as a player in the FM industry, I will use the acronym of TEAM to close by saying that together, every one of us can achieve more in this industry. And truly, we can all do it together because FM is life and SANS will give it our best. I thank you for listening. God bless us.
Thank you so much, Mr. Segun Adebayo. Truly, we can achieve together if we come together. And something he said that is interesting, he said, FM is life. Thank you for this presentation. He's actually taking us through the opportunities we have in the in different sectors. We saw in the banking, in the manufacturing, the pharmaceuticals, the oil and gas, and all that. And one great thing he said is that there's huge opportunities for the FM industry, especially as the government is also lending hands in providing these opportunities. So the FM industry should go ahead and pursue these opportunities from different governmental levels, the federal government, the state government, and all that. There are a lot of opportunities out there, and it's employing us to make use of the time we have and pursue these opportunities. Thank you so much, Mr. Segun Adebayo. Our time is running fast, and if there's anybody that wants to say anything, you just raise your hand up. We'll call you up to say something or ask questions. This time we are taking questions from anybody that has a question to ask. And before I call back on the speakers to give us their parting words, if you have any question, you can just raise your hand up or you put it on the chat box. Or if you have any contribution, you can do the same. Just raise your hand up and make your contributions. I can see the past president of IFMA Nigeria, Mrs. Abimbola. You're welcome, ma'am. Thank you for coming. Thank you for attending. Thank you so much. I'm asking for questions, if there are questions, so that we can pick that up and go ahead to ask for their for parting words for us. And I also want to use this opportunity to say a happy birthday to Esther Sovio Bode Adediji, our lead sponsor. And also I'm saying this on behalf of Natafam David Consulting, a huge, huge happy birthday. And we pray that you continue to be a great mentor in this industry, and you continue to live long in good health and prosper in all that you do, in the name of God the Father and the Son. Thank you so much.
Amen.
Thank you so much. Thank you, sir, for coming. Thank you.
It's
possible. I've not said
Adamolekun is trying to say something.
Okay, yes.
This Adamolekun is trying to say something.
Yes, I can see her hand, and Engineer Kintayo. Please, can you unmute Mrs. Abimbola?
Okay.
Yes,
I'm unmuted now.
Yes, you're welcome, ma'am. Good to have you.
Good morning from this side of the world, and good afternoon in Nigeria.
Good morning. Good morning.
It's good to see all the faces again, and I will say thank you to NAFADAM for organizing this program again. Thank you for putting us there, out there in the industry. I also want to thank all the speakers. They've done very wonderful jobs. Let me join you in saying happy birthday to Mr. Bode Adedeji. Long life and prosperity, sir.
Amen.
And we wish you continued success in the industry. I just want to add my voice to what the speakers have said. Facility management industry will always be in demand because there is no way people can work without a facility. So the profession will continue to be in great demand. I think into what capacity is what facility managers need to begin to look at, and also to make sure that we make ourselves relevant, and now to ensure that, our need in those different facilities are in continuous demand. What I mean by that is that technology is taking over globally, so we have to find our relevance in that sense. long ago, like in the early 2000, I visited PwC South Africa, and I just walked in like we used to do in Nigeria, wanting to go and say hello to one of the staff, and I was told they're already doing hoteling system. As far back, like one of the speakers said, it's some of these developments are not recent. They've been on for a very long time. It's just that we didn't know them or in our parts of the world.
Yeah.
As far back as late 90s, early 2000, this hoteling system have been in place. So like I said, it's for us to make ourselves relevant in the industry and make sure that our profession is not played down in any way. Once again, I want to say well done. I also say a big thank you to Mr. Kenneth.
Stevenson, yes.
Kenneth. And thank you once again to everybody. God bless.
Bless you, ma. Thank you so much for lending your voice to this conversation. I don't know if Engineer Tayo is still online. He was raising his hand up. Engineer Tayo? Engineer Tayo, are you still there? Okay. Any questions, please? Green Facilities, Mr. Olumidaino, unmuting. You're welcome, sir.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon.
Welcome. Good afternoon.
A very warm thank you to everybody for, especially the organizers of this program. It's a very laudable program, and I also want to use the voice to wish Mr. DJ happy birthday, long life and prosperity, and every other person that have attended. Also, my mentor, Dr. M.K. Obalogun, and also one of my mentors I'm seeing here, surprisingly, Engineer Kitayo of the Ikeja branch, NSC branch. Good afternoon, sir. And I would just like to say briefly that FM has come to stay. FM is the key word. FM is the strategy to turn around our economy, especially the Nigerian economy. I hope we're going to influence the government sooner than later. We really need to collaborate as FM. Collaborate is also a very fundamental strategy this year that we need to do, and also make some strategic noise about our efficacy, our experience, our skill set that can bring about FM economy in Nigeria. We really have to do it, and that's why I'm giving big kudos to the organizers for bringing this up from time to time. We need more of this. Each FM company should do that, engage stakeholders, engage their clients. We have to, because you have more clients that are educated in FM, they'll be making better informed decisions. If you have clients that don't know much about FM, they'll be making wrong decisions, and it's going to affect the economy of FM. It's going to affect the kind of people we build in this industry. So we need to talk about it at the primary level, at the secondary level, at the tertiary level, everywhere we are, in the church, in the mosque. Tell them what FM can do for their business, for their building, for their ideas, what FM can bring about. It's very, very important. We cannot over-communicate the efficacy of FM. We can't do that. We have to go to the radio station. I remember when I was in Abuja, I started a radio program, Nigerian Info. Every Thursday I do that just to talk about FM. We can collaborate, FM companies come together and start talking about what it can do for us. It's very, very important. Very, very important, so that this profession does not die a natural death, that we don't lose our value in the size of clients. We don't lose our value in the size of the government. We have to be very, very organized so that it will make a lot of sense to us at the end of the day. FM has been, for example, FM has been in Nigeria for over 30 years. We're talking about FM. 30 years back, have we really improved? Are we where we're supposed to be? The answer is capital no. I know it takes a lot of work, a lot of engagement, a lot of resource management, and influence. But we have to be deliberate this time around. It has to be a deliberate strategy, not just doing things because we have to do it. All right, that's my own contribution. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lumida, for your contribution. Collaboration is key, and like Mr. Shegu Adebayo said, together we make progress, we win. Thank you so much. If there's nobody to ask questions or make contributions, I want to go back to Estate Surveyor Bode Adediji to give us his parting word on making sense of the facilities management market, please. Just about 30 seconds.
I think Engineer Wahab is raising up his hand.
Engineer Wahab?
Engineer Suleiman.
Engineer Suleiman?
Yes, sorry.
Good afternoon.
Okay, good afternoon, sir. You're welcome.
Yes, I'm really grateful for your beautiful presentation. The request I want to make is that I don't know where I can get this material, the presentation material, the slides.
Okay, please just send your email address on the chat box. Just put your email address if you want to get this presentation or this of today. Just put your email address. We're going to send the presentation to your mailbox after this. Just type in your email address on the chat box. We'll get back to you with that.
Thank you.
It's applicable to everybody that wants a video of this. So if you just put your email address there, you will get the video of this program today. Thank you, Engineer Suleiman. So I'm going back to Estate Surveyor Bode Adediji to give us the parting word on making sense of the facilities management market. Just about 30 minutes. And after that, Engineer MKO Balogun, and then Mr. Shegu Adebayo. Okay, yes, Engineer MKO Balogun, can you give us your parting word?
Thank you very much once again for the opportunity to be on this program, and also to thank my co-panelists. Message is clear. There's opportunity in the industry. What we need to do is to prepare ourselves to take them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. We have a lot of opportunities. That is just what is just said in a nutshell. Mr. Shegu Adebayo? Mr. Shegu Adebayo?
Yeah, well, for me, just to support what my brother just said, the opportunity in the market is enormous. The window to explore is also there. The market is developing rapidly. All we just need to do is just to not only position ourselves to tap into those opportunities and those availabilities, but also begin to think around capacity and knowledge building to complement this rapid growth and rapid development. And for us in IFMA, we're a strong advocate and a lead advocate in capacity and knowledge building. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I don't know. I think Estate Surveyor Adediji is no more on this platform for now. Well, we are going to give. We're going to present certificates to our speakers today and our sponsors. Please, can we have these certificates, please?
This certificate is for Global Properties and Facilities International Limited, Global PFI. Well, we want to thank you very much for being part of today's conversation. 2021, I'm trying to take the lessons we learned. We will continue to work together to make the facility management a robust industry, and also to be able to do what it's set out to do for the entire industries and the corporate world. Thank you very much.
The next one is on this.
I think the next one is SG.
SUV, but
Estate Surveyor Bode Adediji. We must thank Estate Surveyor Bode Adediji as one of the speakers today. It has also given to all our platforms, and it's just for me to throw in here that Bode Adedeji is an inductee into the Nigeria's Construction Industry Hall of Fame, which happened about 2 years ago. And today is a voice in the real estate industry. Congratulations again on your birthday, and happy birthday to you today. And thank you for always supporting all our platforms. Thank you. Engineer MKO Balogun. In fact, when we first put out Engineer MKO Balogun's information out as one of the speakers, the first person that got back to me and said we must put his designation as an engineer and also a chairman of a division of the Nigerian Society of Engineers is Engineer Akindayomi. And he told us that we must ensure that we include all his appellation into the thing. So Engineer Balogun is a voice in this industry, and then we must thank you very much for spending your time. Just about 2-3 hours today is so difficult these days. Yeah. But the new normal has brought in a new way of doing things. We've learned something from here because 2020 actually presented with workplace scenario for organization. Some of them, like you said, were prepared for it, but some were not. But we're adapting very well. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us tonight, this afternoon. Thank you, Engineer MKO Balogun.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Mr. Segun Adebayo, the newly elected president of IPMA International Chapter, International Nigeria Chapter. Thank you very much. We are quite delighted for IPMA to actually make our time to be part of this. Last year, when we were hosting the other one, it was Mrs. Adamolekun that was the president. Today, you are in the saddle, and I know that you will further develop the industry, as you have just said, and we are believing that something greater is about to happen to the FM industry in Nigeria. Thank you very much, and you can be so sure that we will be your partner in progress as we move on in this industry. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, that's it. I think with my own parting word, something we should go back with in some of the lessons learned from the 2020. We need to just take a few minutes to look at some of the things and also get our very various partners, our industry operators, corporate organizations to answer or take note of some of the questions. Include one, and how has remote work impacted our businesses? What surprised you during your organization response to the COVID-19? And what was your weakest area in compiling a response strategy? And also, what data was missing as you try to respond to the pandemic? I think it's important for the industry to be able to look at these lessons and also so that we can move forward and get our clients also getting back to work. Globally, most organizations are still working from home despite the vaccines, but the fact is, this is with us. Very, very sharing your very precious time with us. You will not.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for that, for the presentation and the parting word. I still ask that you put down your email addresses so that we can send you the video at the end after this program. And I also want to thank everybody that participated, especially our lead sponsor for the Adedeji's partnership and our speakers. Thank you so much for attending and your time. God bless. And we'll be having a series of this. And we ask that whenever we knock at your door, you open for us to be part of this. Thank you so much. God bless you. Do have a good evening.
Bode Adedeji Partnership is the pioneer multidisciplinary professional firm in the real estate. With over 30 years of experience, Bode Adedeji Partnership has cemented their legacy as one of the greatest of all time in the real estate and facility management. Adediji Partnership is the pioneer multidisciplinary professional firm in the real estate. With over 30 years of experience, Bode Adediji Partnership has cemented their legacy as one of the greatest of all time in the real estate and facility management.